Drop in the comments if it's off to a good day or off to a rough start. Drop in the comments. Let me know. Tell me where you're coming in from. Today's going to be amazing, and I'm going to make sure we're on all platforms here real quick. Drop in the comments, where are you watching this? If you don't know, we have YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, here on Facebook, over there on Instagram, of course. 2 different cameras, so it gets a little confusing for me, but I want to welcome all of you. I have been doing a No Guts, No Story call since 2000 and at least whenever Facebook first started, 2006. Before that, it was a dial-in free conference call. Everybody would dial in and listen, and then I would hit record, and then you could dial back into a number to listen to record. I don't know how long you guys have been watching No Guts, No Story or listening in, but I will tell you, it is my favorite hour of the week. And this week, I decided I was going to unplug. I have not been on Facebook or Instagram unless our graphics designer posted a reminder about this call. Put away my phone, told Dave, I don't want to hear any TV. I walked through the room. There was one thing on TV, and I said, oh my gosh, I think I just broke my fast. You know, it's crazy how little things can get in your head, and the littlest thing can fester and grow. And this broadcast should probably come with a warning label, because this is not your normal Saturday morning Barb. So if you're going to be offended if I talk about my faith, if you're going to be offended if I tell you something that might hurt your feelings, please don't watch this episode, because I'm not going to be something that I'm not. And I am so filled with the Spirit right now. And I'm telling you, there are amazing things happening in my life. Amazing things are going to happen in your life. And today, I was inspired by one thing I heard in the last 24 hours, and I've just been filling it up, just filling it up. And it's not like I wanted to go tell the whole world, hey, I'm going to fast for 3 days and pray, but I'm going to tell you now, because what has happened for me in the last few days of really doing this is something that I want for every single one of you. And I get so tired of watching people stuck in a trap. And I talk to so many people every single day that have so much sorrow and so much pain. You can't get away from it, right? There's so much fear, so much division, so much separation, so much arguing. It's really a sad world that we live in right now. And I'll tell you why, because people are they're relying, they're rewatching, they're replaying, they're planting all of these seeds. So they have a spirit of hate, divide, fight, feel inferior, feel insecure, feel afraid. Don't do what you were going to do because, oh my gosh, you have this gloom and doom all over you. And I'm telling you guys, I've had a lot of aha moments in my life. One of them was, 18 months ago in this house. I probably had more tears, more hurt, more prayer, more pleading with God to just take away a burden that was on my heart. And I literally thought it was going to kill me. It was that dark. And I'm telling you guys, it was during that time of darkness that this cloud of grace, this cloud of salvation, this cloud of faith, this cloud of, oh my gosh, look what God just did, really happened. And sometimes we forget to keep praying when we actually get what we had been praying for. And I'll tell you, some of you are going through the darkest of times, financially, sick, divorce, maybe addiction, maybe it's just questioning your own faith, insecurities, all those things that you feel. And you might think I'm a little woo-woo, but I'm just going to tell you what my belief is. You don't have to believe like me. You don't have to do what I do. You don't even have to watch. But here's the truth. The enemy would not be attacking you if something wasn't inside of you that was so big he wanted to stop it. The enemy is going to attack the people who are doing the most good. And then some of you are like, well, then why would I want to do good? Because when you persevere and you plant and sow those seeds, even in your tears, it says in the Bible, when you sow seeds in tears, you will reap joy. And most people, they give up And I'm no preacher. Let me tell you, I love the Lord, but I do cuss a little bit. I have been known to want a tomato juice and a Michelob Ultra occasionally on a hot day. I drink half of it and I'm tired, but I'm not a perfect person, right? I have fallen short. I have done stupid things in my younger years. I have been an immature entrepreneur when I had a spirit of guilt, or I had a spirit of greed, or I had a spirit of resentment where I was going to do something just to get even with someone. I've had times where I had a spirit of jealousy. I've had times where I had a spirit of a lack of, just a scarcity. I've had times when I've even struggled to be honest. And there are people, that are watching, and you're afraid to just be honest about what that they call it a stronghold. And I know some people who are young in their journey of faith, you're like, oh my gosh, demons aren't real, strongholds aren't real. I mean, I used to be like, I do not have a generational curse. Shut up. Like, I am my own person. I'm nothing like my ancestors. I'm nothing like my grandparents. And then there was other ones I'm like, I'm so much like my grandma. Thank God she sewed this into me, right? It's like we want to decipher that we got the good from the good and that we never got anything from the bad. And I honestly think we are each individually blessed with gifts, and we are each individually blessed with a purpose that we're supposed to follow. And a lot of times when God puts something amazing in me, amazing in you, amazing in your children, the enemy is going to send something so significant to steal their dreams, to stop them from following their path and their purpose. And I have seen it in my siblings. I have seen it in my children. I have seen it with Dave and I. Anytime there's a new level, trust me, there is a new devil every single time. And so, of course, I wake up every day. This morning, I took some notes when I was studying and listening, and I heard this phrase. Stephen Furtick has a new book coming out, and he talks about the treadmill, which is what we're all just keeping on doing because it's what our mom did. It's what our dad did. It's what we're supposed to do. It's what people expect us to do. And then there's the trap. This is what happened to me. This is why I am the way I am. This is why I'm stuck. That's the crazy talk that gets in your head that keeps you doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting a different result. And then there's the truth. And the truth will set you free. It will literally set you free. Nobody wants to hear the truth. We have a really soft, and I hate to say that way, but everyone around us, not everyone, only losers speak in generalities. I have learned that. You don't say everyone, you don't say everything, you don't say most of the people. The reality is how many people. I would say a lot of people are soft. They get offended by everything. You're going to hurt their feelings. There is this entitlement culture everywhere that I look. And that is not speaking in generalities. It's like everywhere. I mean, my mom was not afraid to discipline me. My teachers were not afraid to discipline me. My grandma had a solid rock. Like, this is how it's going to be in my house. And I think nowadays, because we are so conditioned to listen to the world, and now, there's so much, people are just shocked at the things that are happening and in the news. Here's why. Because people are so connected to false idols, to the big house, to the G-Wagon, to the diamond ring, to all the name brand stuff, and climbing this ladder of the future Barb, the future Lindsay, Julie, Jenna, Daisy, Kathy. I mean, I see you all on here, Maria. We're so, one of these days when I'm skinny, one of these days when I'm rich, one of these days when I'm happy. I read a book once, and it was people miss. Did you see that? That broadcast starting to end and delay. That's a signal, right? I look back on my life. I had so many close calls. How many of you have had close calls in your life that literally should have took you out, where you're like, we were this close to dying? The car accident. I mean, I was literally crossing a bridge with a baby carrier, little kangaroo in the middle, and a semi passed each other on a 2-lane bridge when Brooklyn was maybe 6 weeks old. And somehow, by the grace of God, we hugged the corner of the bridge. The 2 semis collided, went past us like this on the bridge, and kept going. And I remember getting to town, there was no cell phones, and calling 911 from the very first truck stop, about 7 miles till I got to Russell, and saying, I almost just died on the bridge. I think the 2 semi drivers did. Like, I was that shook up. And somehow there must have been a band of angels around that I lived, right? When I had Brooklyn, I almost died. I mean, Dave was on a bull once, 4th of July in Hastings, Nebraska, and everyone in the crowd thought he died. The devil tried to take him out, right? But he ended up multiple surgeries, in ICU, laying on his mom's couch, and that very burden that tried to take him out brought him to call me for a haircut. And you guys, what gets really, really crazy? We were both engaged. Dave and I never dreamt we would end up together. And so when you are going through a burden, when you're going through a close call, when you feel like the whole world's against you, and you're like, I don't know why everything bad keeps happening to me. Who else would you want it to happen to? Because here's what happens. When the bad stuff is coming in groves, in buckets, in chapter after chapter after chapter, you just have to know it's a chapter, not your whole lifetime. And every time I feel this happening, I run. I literally know that is the enemy. I work harder. I get in the word. I pray. I call my mentor to pray. I get with my husband and say, we need to fast and pray. Like, there is nothing that can fight the battle like you really getting in the word and knowing what the promises are. And some of you are like, I don't know how to pray. I don't know how to do that. I don't either. I got a little book. It's called Command the Morning. And when I do it, it works. And when I don't, things are really, really heavy. Drop in the comments right now if you're going through something that is so heavy. I've got something that has been so heavy that I've just been carrying around. And I just have to keep remembering that there was one day that there was a man that everybody he believed would not turn on him, turned on him, right? And he literally said, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. And he kept being great. So many people want to get even. They want to get down in the muck. They're trying to figure out, why is this happening? And I'm telling you, the one day when my Savior stretched out his arms and bled to death, I know that that blood of Jesus is a promise that I will have grace in my life. I will have strength in my life. I will have someone else that fights every battle for me. I just have to get off the throne. I just have to quit thinking that I'm God and I can control everything and I can change everything and I can fix everything and I can do everything, because I can't. I would be nothing without him. And I'm telling you, when the blessings come, oh my gosh, our company has been in the news. Our sales were off the chains. The leaders that I attracted were nothing short of a complete miracle. People better than me that I am so humbled to be working with. People with more skills, people with more reach, people with more followers. I'm not an influencer. I'm not a social seller. I'm not even a perfect follow-upper or a salesperson, or I'm not a lot of things, but I know this. With God, with him, it will be nothing but victory for me. I know that I will win again and again and again. And I also know when I don't have him and I get busy and I don't start my day and end my day with him, I get vulnerable. Drop in the comments if you feel vulnerable sometimes, because here's what happens. The world's not going to give you joy, and your paycheck isn't going to give you joy. Recognition is going to give you a temporary fix, feeds your ego. All of a sudden, you accomplish something. Oh my gosh, look at me. Get ready. Here comes the enemy. Because when God puts an amazing thing in me, the enemy says, I better get to work. She's about to win. She's about to give him all the glory. She's about to come up. I better get to work. And the minute I feel that anointing, like I knew there was an anointing on our company. I knew from the beginning, this is God, this is not me. I was literally saying it every day, and people kept saying, Barb, quit saying it's not you. It is you. You're working hard. We love you. We're here because of you. No, you're not. You're with me because God brought us into alignment, and he's going to do great things through us so long as we keep giving him the glory. And I would be so afraid not to. I do fear God. I do. Because here's what happens. The minute the anointing hits my head, I was saved from the car accident. I was saved from the pregnancy. I bailed myself out after bankruptcy. I mean, the enemy has tried to cream me in front of everyone and show them that I am weak. I am nothing. I am a loser. I am poor. I had sex before marriage. I was a little heathen when I was 12. I was born out of wedlock. Like, I got all the stamps on my head, right? But here's the thing. That's the reason I run. That's the reason I fight. That's the reason I pray, because I know that me being born into what I was being born into was part of God's purpose in my life if I could get to victory. And the battle isn't over yet. So if the enemy sent something significant tomorrow, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to make it, but one of my closest friends, who has been a loyal friend, she was with me 27 years ago and held Callie as a newborn while Dave and I walked the stage as the #1 producer in a company, presidential platinum. It was amazing. And there was this false idol, this NFL superstar, right? Oh my gosh, there we were with him. We were at the Super Bowl. We were like, oh my God, we died and went to heaven. He's signing footballs. We're hanging out at the VIP at the Super Bowl. We're with all the famous people before Instagram and Facebook was a thing. I can't even imagine. I would have had 1 million followers that day. It was 9/11. We were in the elevator with Barry Manilow. Can you imagine? Dave's mom's heartthrob all of her life. And we were making $40,000, $50,000 a month. We were in our 20s. And the enemy said, I'm going to take them out, right? That year, this guy that we thought was a superstar, couldn't believe he was running our company. Private equity, all the money gets bled off the top. The entire company goes bankrupt, and there we are with a new house, a new car, 3 babies, a mortgage. I mean, one minute we had it all, the next minute we had nothing. Checks bouncing. This is 3-4 years after we fought our way out of a bankruptcy. And you know what, guys? I got on my knees and I prayed again. And there's a time where it's not all going to be positive. There's a time where it's not all going to be victory. There's a time where it's going to be painful and you are going to cry. And you don't have to fake like, oh, everything's amazing. Everything's positive. Oh, look at me. No, there's a time where you're going to be like, this literally sucks ass right now. And I'm sorry I cussed, but there are chapters like that. My friend that was there for me then and has been loyal to me for 27 years. Last Sunday, her 16-year-old grandson took his life, and it didn't take him immediately. They life watched him. There was nothing they could do. On Wednesday, she lost her grandson. And I think back to 2001 when we were at the height of our career before that company went away. And Dave's little brother did the same thing. And I want to tell you guys something. The enemy wants you to give up. He wants you to take the bottle of pills. He wants you to pull the trigger. He wants you to quit the relationship. He wants you to be addicted. He wants you to follow something false. He wakes up every day to destroy your life, your joy, your blessings, your family, your marriage, your career. That's his job. And so many people are so vulnerable, they don't have the strength to keep hanging on. They don't have the strength. So there must be something ahead of me that's so amazing. I want you to say this with me. There must be something ahead of me that's so freaking amazing that the enemy just keeps sending the test. My kids have said to me before, why do bad things just keep happening? Like, when is our family just not going to have bad things happening? Claudette, I love you. I love you. I see you. I'm praying for you. Your kids, your grandkids are going to say, look at what she did. Sorry. I'm not going to cry. So many people get on this treadmill of like, I'm not going to survive. I'm not going to survive. I need to take something. I need to take something. I need to drink something. I need to go hurt somebody. Like, it's sad. The reason why I'm doing what I'm doing today is because of all of that burden that one day we were carrying. And I see so many people today, how we react. We just want to be so hateful. We want to get even. We want to be mean. We want to fight. It's not fair what you did to me. Life is not going to be fair. Here's what I'm going to tell you. Life is not going to be fair. And when Dave and I survived that horrible suicide in 2001, it was a dark chapter. I'm going to tell you, you're going to be okay, but you don't have to be okay today. You don't have to be okay today. It's okay to be broken for a minute, but you were built not to break. If I ever got a tattoo, that's exactly what it would say, but I'm not going to put a tattoo on my body. I don't know why. Don't judge me. I'm not a prude. I just don't want anything permanent on my body ever. A lot of people do. Not judging. I'm definitely not judgmental. But if I ever did get one, it would be that, or it would be 316. Because 316 is the promise that every single one of us has, right? So my joy is my job. And without God, I am nothing. And right now, I have so many friends fighting so many tough things. The minute I got my mastermind together and we were in alignment, we were like, we're going to go change the world. There was an attack. I saw it right away. One of them, a daughter with addiction. One of them, a cancer diagnosis. One of them, husband falls over, has a heart attack, splits his head open, has been battling that ever since. Another one, a health challenge. Another one, fired from their job, no income. Another one, losing their grandson to suicide. Like, you guys, when you're going to do great things, the enemy, he's always going to be battling. You can't say, oh, because I was going to do something great, now he's battling. But when you sow seeds in tears, you reap all joy. And after 2001, when Dave and I were sowing so many seeds, we were young, we were stupid. We wanted an Infinity Q45. We got a mechanical bull in our driveway just for parties. We put up the biggest fancy fence all around our yard. We had the big white columns. It was all about the money. And then I think as you get older and wiser and you just go through some serious shit in your life, that's why I can't be a preacher, because I can't not say bad words. I try really hard, but it's like I'm sorry. Don't let your kids watch this. The reality is, when we pushed through, there was this new armor that said, we're going to impact more people than we did before we went through that. And so sometimes we want to save people. I'm guilty of this. I want to save everyone. I want to fix everyone. I want to give enough to help everyone not be burdened by finances. But here's the thing. You watch a little chick trying to peck out of an egg, and it's tough to watch because you see them just working so hard, so hard, so hard. If you peck the egg to help the chick out, the chick dies, right? So fortunate for Dave and I, our moms couldn't help us. They had nothing. They didn't have 2 pennies to rub together. And at the time they were newly divorced. And I look back and I say, there must be something ahead of me that's so amazing that the enemy is attacking me like this. Because I watched my mom do it. And it's not a generational curse. It's not a generational curse. It's a lesson with so much blessing in it. Because now I say, she is my hero. She kept fighting. She had no child support. She had 5 kids. I watched her thaw out the pipes with a blow dryer. I watched her keep getting up, keep getting up, keep getting up with this armor that God was going to bless her 10 times for anything that she lost. And I saw her strength. And that's the seed that was sown in me, that if she can do it, I can do it. And some of you don't have a grandmother. Some of you don't have a mom. Some of you don't have a mentor. I mean, I need a therapist. I need someone that I can call and say, we need to armor up. We need to pray. I can get with my diamonds in my mastermind. I can call them and say, we need to pray. Marina Simone put me on the phone with her mom last year in April, and I was leading a company having its biggest month ever. And the devil was attacking me. Noxie said, I wish I could jump through the phone and be with Grandma Barb. I love you, Nox. And you are an amazing, amazing grandson. I love you so much. But I will tell you, where was I at? I just lost my train of thought. Marina Simone's mom said to me, you got to do the hard thing, Barb. You're destined for greatness. The Lord is blessing your company. You're having success, and the enemy is attacking your family. And what you have to do is surrender it to the Lord and let them fall. Let them fail. Let them hurt. Let them learn the lesson. And that day, my oldest daughter was fighting a battle I literally have been fighting with her for 10 years. It has taken my joy. It has taken my health. It took me away from times I could have been with my other kids or grandkids. It took away holidays. It made me isolate. It made me not want to go to family dinners. And I have 50, 60 people a week at a birthday in Russell. Like, my roots are there. All my siblings, all my nieces, all my nephews, they look up to me. She's my Aunt Barb. She's my oldest sister. And I'm telling you guys, the enemy had me so broken that I would literally let him take my joy. But not anymore. Not anymore. Because Marina Simone's mom said to me, you have to know that God will be with her when you're not. You can't fix her. You can't cure her. You can't control her. You've got to be an example. You can't feel guilty for her. You should feel guilty for your grandkids, for your other daughter, for your son, for your husband that needs you, for the people in your business that need you to be able to show up. And you can't keep fighting this fight. You have to surrender it all, and you have to know what could be the worst case scenario. And the worst case scenario, I will never speak. I will never give it any power of the tongue. But you guys, it was a hard day, a very hard day. And do you know what? That day when I surrendered it all and I got off the throne and quit trying to be God that would fix everything and control everything and cure everything, I just said, let them fall. Let them fall. God will be with them. I prayed Jesus be with her siblings. I prayed Jesus be with her dad. I prayed, give me the strength to stop crying and keep sowing seeds, even in tears. And I'm telling you guys, so many blessings started to flow. And it is not easy. It is not easy. I am not ashamed. I am not ashamed that I had a brother-in-law that took his life because of alcohol addiction and mental illness. I am not ashamed that my son has battled depression, anxiety, and thoughts of suicide. I am not ashamed that my oldest daughter overdosed on fentanyl, not once, but twice that we know of, and has sat behind bars for so many months because here's what I know. The enemy tried to take her out. And God said, armor up. I have a purpose for you. The enemy tried to take me out. God said, armor up. I have a purpose for you. The enemy is trying to take you out. He's trying to get you to lose your family, lose your finances, lose your job, lose your dream, lose your spirit, create doubt that maybe you should make a move, like this is hard. Guys, let me give you a big news flash. This is not going to be easy. You're either going to be fighting the trap of what you always were. You're going to be stuck on a treadmill of the one day, someday, maybe I'm just meant to be stuck here. I'm going to let myself feel inferior, insecure, devastated, destitute. Oh, I'm going to feel less than. I'm going to feel a lack of. I'm going to feel betrayed. I'm going to be full of resentment. Here's the thing. There are seasons that follow. You have to leave at some point this chapter of victim mentality. And you have to armor up and say, with God, like with Christ, I can do all things. And Jeremiah 29:11 is my forever favorite verse. I read it every day. Jeremiah 29:11 says, not to harm you, but to prosper you. Not to harm you, but to give you hope and a future. So here's the thing. If you didn't go through stuff, how would you have any experience to witness to someone else? Do you know, I have been on the phone while my daughter, Brooklyn, has led 4 different women going to prison to salvation. I have been on the phone while she has said, Mom, Bree just walked by. She wants to know when you're going to pray with her. And let me tell you, this girl, Bree, every time she's in jail, her brother is right down the hall. Every time I've been there, her mom is there to visit. And I'm telling you guys, Bree has a stronghold that she grew up with, roots. Have you guys ever been out in your garden and you're trying to like pull the weeds, and some of the weeds just come out of nowhere? Like they weren't there yesterday, now they're there today. And you just pull them and they just like come right up. Like I live in the country, no matter how much we landscape, the Milo grows and all of a sudden I have Milo seeds blowing into my yard. There's just Milo popping up everywhere. Like I planted corn by my front yard. I didn't plant corn. It blew there. And sometimes if I get it right away, it's no big deal. But the bigger it gets, the deeper it's rooted, the harder it is. And I have been on a fast in deep prayer, breaking strongholds, praying for each and every one of you. And I'm telling you, when you get those weeds, there's these ones that grow in the country by our house. And if you even try to pull them, your hands are full of like little cactus pricks. And when you try to pull them, like milk goes everywhere and it's sticky, but you still can't get it out. That's a deep rooted weed. And some of us don't even know that we have these deep rooted strongholds in our life of scarcity. We're always going to be poor. My family was poor. Adultery. It's okay to cheat. My dad did it. My grandpa did it. My uncle did it. Oh, I'll just get a divorce and get remarried. Like, it's just a normal thing. Gambling. Oh, it's okay. Like, my mom is the luckiest person in the world. Every time she goes to a casino, she hits a jackpot. It's fun. I mean, I've done it, but it doesn't have a hold on me, right? Some people, they get this dopamine in their brain because it's the only way they win. So they got to keep doing it. For some people, they get this dopamine in their brain if they have sex, so they got to keep doing it. For some people, like my daughter, it was a needle in her vein. The minute it hit, she felt significant. And the sad thing is, that's the devil. He wants you to find your peace, your joy in something false that is not forever. You're thirsty. You need it. I'm telling you, you're never going to quench that thirst. The more you get, the more you're going to want, whether it's money, whether it's drugs, whether it's alcohol, whether it's women, whether it's things, whether it's recognition. You know, you see these kids that become so amazing as an athlete or an artist. You can read all their stories. I read Britney Spears' mom's story. And if you ever read it, it would break your heart, because honestly, one day she was a little girl on the Mickey Mouse Club And the mom was like, look at my beautiful little girl. She's going to be on the Disney Channel. And the next day it was a complete freaking nightmare. And when you look at Robin Williams, Whitney Houston, Britney Spears, Michael Jackson, Elvis Presley, like if it's really that great, why did they become so depressed? And in my lifetime, I don't care what I do. At the end of my lifetime, I just want you to say, I remember that day when she gave me hope. Because if I did not have my Lord and Savior, I would have given up so many times. When I was 16, I didn't want to live anymore. I still remember it, over a boyfriend that was cheating on me with my friend that was my best friend. And when I think about that, so many kids get so caught up. One little drug, one little drink, one thing that could set them off, just like Dave's brother. Have no idea what happened, but he had a court date coming up. He had a court date coming up. And I will guarantee you, the enemy said, you're never going to win. You're never going to be loved. You're never going to be forgiven. You're never going to beat this addiction. You're never going to be okay. So you might as well give up. And he's saying that to so many people right now. It is heartbreaking when I look at the floods. I don't even want to see a little baby that lived and all the parents died. I don't want to see it. It's real life. I don't want to see that a 747 every day is dying of fentanyl overdose and nobody cares. Nobody's going to do anything. We just keep letting it come in. Like, I don't want to see that people are stuck in this constant treadmill. Like, they go to jail, they don't get help, they get labeled, they're an addict, they're a loser, nobody's going to hire them, nobody's going to trust them. They go back to jail, they go back to jail, they go back to jail. One day, about a year ago, I was so pissed. And I decided the one thing that I hate so much is that there is no hope in a broken system, and mental illness is taking over the nation, over the world, and nobody wants to talk about it. One day I was like, I'm going to be the whistleblower. I'm going to ruin my reputation. I don't give to you know what. I took all my money. I sent it with my children, sold their grandma's house, sold my med spa, sold our cardinal house that we built in honor of Dave's mom with all of her furniture in it. Just said, we're going to burn the ships, and this is it. One of these days, I'm going to have centers all over the world where all the broken moms like me can show up with their children and say, I am about to give up. What can I do to save her? And I know that God is going to bless that so freaking big. And here's the other thing I know. The devil is going to fight so hard. And all the people that get in alignment to do their purpose and follow their passion, he is going to attack. And if he can't get you from an easy attack, he's going to go after this and that. Maybe it's your kids. Maybe it's your finances. Maybe it's your spouse. Maybe it's your health. Here's what I do know, though. That's the reason I run. That's the reason I fight. That's the reason I work. That's the reason I also stop and pray and fast. So when I slow down, I can speed up with the armor of God all around me. I will tell you, there is not any success that I am having right now that is not 100% anointing and God's blessing on those people, their families. I pray for them every day. Our corporate staff, our formulator, our infrastructure, our top leaders, our diamonds, and the newest person that just joined. Because I'm going to be different. I'm going to be different. I'm not going to get a popular vote. I'm just going to tell you that. Some people are going to unfollow me today. I don't care. Keep following all the famous people that you think are a big freaking deal. Keep suffering. Keep struggling, thinking that you're going to have this Hollywood movie star life that they have. They're empty. They are so empty. And nobody knows it until they expose it, the battle that they've been fighting. And yet the lyrics that they write. Oh, we don't know why so many people are overdosing. Really? Every other song is about Xanax or hydrocodone or, heroin or whatever it is. But they're cool. Like, they're cool. They're famous. Look how many followers they got. Yeah, they're cool until they're not cool. And here is the thing, you guys. Here is the thing. A lot of what we see in the media is a whole bunch of puppets. A lot of what you see is a whole bunch of paid, fictitious AI stuff that isn't even happening. And my children and grandchildren are going to grow up in this world where it is going to get worse and worse and worse and worse. I pray every day for the life that my grandkids that aren't even born yet will grow up of faith, a solid foundation where those roots are going to be so deep that when the storms come, like an oak tree, they're not going to be like the little weed. They're going to be deeply rooted because it starts there, right? If I started a company with resentment and hate, and I was cross-recruiting people and poaching people and trying to get even and doing all the things that people do when they're mad, when they're sad, when they have greed, when they have anger, when they have an ego, it wouldn't be a very solid foundation. It might go big fast, but it will come down faster than it grew. We don't have to build a business tearing other people down. We don't have to build relationships tearing other people down. There's enough oxygen in the world for everyone to breathe. There is enough money in the world for everyone to be blessed so abundantly. And the Lord wants you to have it. He doesn't want you to have love for money and not him, but he wants you to have it so you can do great things. When I'm opening centers and I'm changing people's lives and I'm bridging the gap with families that would have never spoke again, and I'm helping girls that felt like they could never be anything, they might as well go back to the crack house, be able to rise up and become successful and start a business and share their story and have a podcast and write a book. It's going to be an amazing thing. The only reason Dave and I had so much success, we authentically talked about so much failure. We talked about going bankrupt. We talked about losing everything. We talked about the depression. We talked about the battles that we fought. And people were like, I can relate. I think I want to work with you. Here's the thing. Get rid of your ego. It's ego versus bank account. Get rid of all the crap that you can't afford. Step authentically into a real life that people can actually relate to. And people are going to have more respect for you, that you are humble, that you are authentic than they ever will when you're fake, unhappy, living a facade. Because here's the thing, even if they don't know it, you know it. And God's not going to bless that. When God puts any amazing thing in me, the enemy is going to send something to stop me. Thinking back how I started this call, thinking back over my life, all the things that were sent to take me out were the exact setback that God said, it's not a setback. I'm setting you up for the biggest comeback you've ever seen. But here's what happens. In my industry, it's the same 10 people recruiting the same 10 people, taking them here with a promise and there with a promise. And it's just the same 10 people recruiting the same 10 people, pretending that they have this amazing lifestyle. And it's crazy because when you watch it, and they do it all in the name of Jesus is what's really crazy. So we're going to build and destroy, build and destroy, build and destroy, build and destroy. It's why people don't want to follow him, because they're like, if that's what it looks like to be a believer, I don't want to be that. And you guys, I'm going to tell you something. There was a day when I was a believer, but I was judgmental. There was a day when I was a believer, but I didn't do everything good. There was a day when I was a believer, but I made so many mistakes. And today I want to tell you, the minute that you get right, just quit worrying about everything. I don't even care if you're about to get evicted. I don't care if they came and took your car, if your husband just left, if you're fighting a terminal cancer. I don't care what it is. Like my friend Claudette burying her grandson tomorrow with a high school funeral and an entire town coming to celebrate the life of a little boy that they lost. That's heavy. That's heavy. That would make most of you wish that you would never have to trade problems with her, right? Called her yesterday, not just one attack. Mother-in-law, huge tumor, in the hospital, having to go visit her. She's not even going to be out for the funeral. And it takes me back to 18 months ago. My mother-in-law was dying. My daughter was overdosing. My kids were fighting a battle. And I literally was like, I can't take anymore. Oh, the enemy sent pneumonia. He sent shingles. He sent financial things. He sent lawsuits to my top leaders. Like he did anything he could to stop us from doing what we are doing. And I'm telling you guys, he's not going to stop anytime soon. If it happens to me and it happens to you, it's going to happen with everybody around you. It's redemptive suffering while we're on earth. It is. So here's what I want to say to you. I wrote this down earlier. How we react and how we respond is so important. Of course, I'm going to wake up every day, start with prayer, armor up, feed my mind, because my brain is the most important thing next to my heart to keep me going. So I'm not working on my biceps and not working on my brain. That would just be an oxymoron, because my biceps aren't going to run my life. Maybe I do need to move my body, but this is the most important. And we have to know that while we're on this planet, there is going to be pain. There's going to be suffering. There's going to be sorrow. Sometimes we're supposed to be sad. Sometimes we're not going to feel excited about our business, our marriage, our kids, our life, whatever. My joy is my job. I got to take care of me. I got to surrender everyone else to him and know that he loves them more than I do. He loves your kids more than you do. They were his anyway. He just loaned them to you. So not always saying, I'm reaping all the blessings. Life is amazing. No, life is like an onion. Les Brown said this. You got to peel it one layer at a time. And sometimes you're going to cry. And when you cry, you have to know that that's weird. That's an allergy tear. Don't think I was trying to be an actress here. I say sometimes you cry and a tear runs down my face. That was weird. I'm not crying. Sometimes you have to sow in tears in order to reap the joy. And I think what I would say to you is every time that Dave and I would keep... I'm not crying. Dave's coming to check on me. I'm good. No, I'm not crying. I'm okay. I did earlier. I didn't mean to. It's why I want you to work on this so hard. I want to build such an army of people that say, come over here. It's okay. It's okay that you're suffering. It's okay that you're struggling. It's okay that you messed up. It's okay that you're going to jail. It's okay that you need rehab. It's okay that you're having thoughts of suicide. Nobody's going to judge you. Nobody's going to label you. It's okay. It's a tough life that we are living right now. But guess what? When you armor up and you're in a community where everyone around you is saying, it's okay, we're here for you. If you fall short, just come to me. I'm going to help you. We're going to pray together. Where two or more are gathered, he is going to, with the faith of a mustard seed, move that mountain. If I heard that once yesterday, I heard it 100 times. I have been doing this incredible book, fasting, praying, and breaking strongholds in your life. And when I was thinking about that weed that's so hard to pull, I was thinking about the oak tree behind our house that my kids grew up swinging in the swing under. And even when the storm took it out, it's still there. The roots are still there. The stump is still there. I keep threatening that I'm going to make furniture out of it for all my kids because it's such a symbol of the root system of the faith that I poured into them, of the belief that I poured into them, the love that I poured into them, that you are enough, you are amazing, but you're not entitled. Like, it's going to be tough. You just have to know that if God is for you, who dare be against you, because you will be victorious. People just don't turn to him. They turn to everything else instead of that. And I have a hard time watching y'all suffer. I have a hard time. Like, you've got to submit. My mind, I'm going to surrender it. My heart, I'm going to surrender it. And when the enemy is attacking you like that, here's what you have to say. What is he after? What is so good in me that he just won't stop? I must have something amazing in me that he's after. I better really get focused because God's about to show up and bless me so big. And you guys, that's the promise. Just remember that. One day, he stretched his arms out and said, it is finished. And everything in your life has a purpose. You have a purpose. You have to get through the hard times to develop such a hate for that one thing that it stirs you up to the point that you say, this is my passion. This is my purpose. And if there was never hardships, nobody would listen to your story and testimony anyway. If there was never failure, nobody would be able to relate. if there was never you having humility, who would want to follow you? Who are you supposed to reach? Who are you supposed to touch? What are you supposed to do? I never in a million years would have dreamt that I would have this little mushroom company. I never even ate mushrooms. Never in a million years would I think that I would have these little drops because I hated that horrible thing so bad that happened to my mother-in-law, that I would find a way to help fight what I hate, right? It stirred me up in a time when I was so broken, and it just came out of nowhere. Yesterday, in the middle of a fast, I'm like, I'm not answering my phone. I'm not talking to anyone. I'm not looking at social media. I'm not getting on the phone. And then this crazy call came in. Such an answer to prayer. And Dave's like, you sure you weren't answering that? It was God, you guys. And he's about to show up in your life and give you so many blessings, so much joy, so much healing, a closer bond than you ever had with what the enemy is trying to destroy. And I'm telling you guys, it's going to happen just like that. I mean, you're going to come into a season like the bamboo season where you couldn't see anything growing, and all of a sudden it's the tallest tree ever, right? You're going to come into a season where just before you were about to give up, he's going to thrust you into huge success. There will be books written about you. You'll be on a podcast. You'll be on a stage. People will be saying, that's my mom. That's my grandma. That's my dad. That's my sister. That's my brother over there. Look what he did. I'm telling you, the day that my kids are with their sister, Brooklyn, it's going to be bigger than if she won the Olympics. Like, the Olympics is a one-time medal. No, this is a lifelong purpose this girl has. And I'm telling you, every single one of you has it. Don't buy into all the fake. Don't buy into all the hype. Quit following all the things that are never really going to quench your thirst. And just get on your knees and say, God, I can't do this by myself. I need you. I need you so badly. I'm going to surrender it to you because I know that you promised me not to harm me, but to prosper me, to give me hope and a future. Lord, I'm going to repent. I am going to break these strongholds. I know that you can do it for me. And with you for me, who dare be against me? I know you're going to show up. I know it's going to be okay. And I'm going to act as if it's already finished. And when you get finished listening to this, I want you to send it to someone that is hurting. I want you to tag someone that is about to give up. I want you to send it to someone who you love, because sometimes you don't even know who is hurting. I want you to tag a mom that has lost someone to suicide. I want you to tag a sibling that has someone fighting addiction. I want you to tag a grandma who's worried about their little grandchild. I want you to know that God is going to show up and do so many big things in the midst of a really rough week. I'm telling you why the enemy sends a distraction. My little granddaughter was born 18 months ago, and they said she wouldn't walk, and they said she would be nonverbal, and they said she had a rare disability. And 2 nights ago, when I made a decision that I was going to fast and pray, I got a video of Rosie crawling across the living room floor. And do you know what the enemy wanted to do? He wanted to steal my joy that night. He didn't want me to celebrate this victory that God has just healed in such a way that it's going to be miraculous. Her story is going to change so many people's lives. And it's something that we believe in so strongly with frequency and healing. And I'm telling you guys, when great blessings come, new levels, new devils, you just got to know. And I'm telling you, we're coming into a season where you got to buckle down and fight. You've got to buckle down and pray like you've never prayed for your community, for your state, for your nation. We can't give in to all the gloom and doom. When there is a recession, millionaires are born who solve problems. You are this far away, like this far away from coming into so much abundance. You've got to be the whistleblower. You've got to be the one that says the buck stops here. You've got to be the one that steps into authenticity, tells your true story, and goes out there and does what God put in your heart to do. And know It's going to be heavy, but I heard the lyrics to a song today. It said, I can see a cloud coming. It looks like hope. I can see a cloud coming. It looks like a revival. I can see a cloud coming. I can see a cloud coming. It looks like my salvation. And I'm telling you guys, if you just keep going and you don't give up, there's a cloud coming. And it's going to cover you with so many blessings like you've never experienced in your life. And if you needed a little bit of hope today, don't give me any credit. This is all God. I've been sowing in so many tears, knowing that there is going to be so much joy and it's going to happen for you too. So you guys have an amazing day. I can't wait to hear your success story. If you need the book or you need the Audible I'm listening to or the Breaking Strongholds or even a therapist that can pray with you, I've got the goods and I can refer you. You guys have an amazing day. Oh, you could also drink my drink. It helps me to feel happy. Have a good day, everyone. I love you. I'm going to always give God all the glory. It's not me. And I just am appreciative of you tuning in. And please hit follow and share this broadcast. Have an amazing day. I love you guys.